United States of America, 1 cent 1966. The year was 1966, a time when the United States was in the middle of political turbulence, social revolutions, and economic adjustments. The Vietnam War was raging, the Civil Rights Movement was reshaping American society, and the Cold War was silently pressing upon every corner of the world. Amidst this backdrop, even the smallest symbol of the nation, the humble 1 cent coin, penny, carried immense historical, cultural, and symbolic significance. The 1966 United States 1 cent coin, widely known as the Lincoln Memorial Cent, is one of the most recognized coins in American history. But its importance is not only in its value as money, rather in the story it tells through its design. To truly understand this coin, we must dive into both of its faces. The front side, obverse. On the front, or the obverse, of the 1966 penny, we see the proud image of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This portrait was designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Lincoln was the first real person, not a symbol like liberty, ever featured on a U.S. coin. Until then, coins mostly carried symbolic figures like liberty or eagles, but in 1909, the U.S. Mint decided to honor Lincoln, a leader who ended slavery and preserved the Union during the Civil War. The 1966 penny continued this tradition, with Lincoln's image facing right. Above his head is the inscription, "In God We Trust." To the left is the word "Liberty," and to the right is the year 1966. But why 1966 is unique? During the mid-1960s, the U.S. faced a severe coin shortage due to the booming economy and rising coin-collecting hobby. To solve this, in 1965, Congress passed the Coinage Act, which removed mint marks, letters showing which city made the coin, from coins for a few years. This is why the 1966 penny has no mint mark, even if it was made in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. This decision makes the 1966 coin special in the history of American minting. The backside, reverse. The reverse of the 1966 penny shows the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. This design was first introduced in 1959, replacing the earlier design of wheat stalks on the back. It was created by Frank Gasparo, who later became the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. The Lincoln Memorial itself is a national treasure. Built between 1914 and 1922, it was designed by architect Henry Bacon. The memorial is located on the National Mall, Washington, D.C., directly across from the Washington Monument and facing the Capitol. Inside the memorial is a giant seated statue of Abraham Lincoln, created by sculptor Daniel Chester French. The building was inspired by classical Greek temples, representing democracy, endurance, and timeless respect. But why was it placed on the penny? Because in 1959, it was the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The U.S. government decided to honor him not only with his face on the front, but also with his memorial on the back. For the first time in American coin history, if you look closely with a magnifying glass, you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, meaning both sides of the coin show Lincoln. This made the Lincoln Memorial Cent one of the most beloved coins among collectors and ordinary Americans alike. International market value. Now, let's talk about its market value. In normal circulation, the 1966 penny is just worth 1 cent. But in the numismatic market, coin-collecting world, its value depends on condition. A well-circulated one may be worth just a few cents. But an uncirculated 1966 penny in pristine mint state condition can fetch anywhere between $100,000 to $500,000 in international auctions. Rare varieties or coins with striking errors, such as double-die obverse or misstrikes, can sometimes be valued even higher. Thus, a coin that people once carried casually in their pockets has now become a valuable collectible, and in some rare cases, worth millions, a symbol of unity in troubled times. The 1966 penny was more than just a small coin. It was a symbol of American endurance in a time of national uncertainty. The mid-1960s tested the United States like few other decades had. Wars abroad, protests at home, the assassination of leaders, and the rise of new cultural movements all created a restless atmosphere. In such times, the face of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse carried deep meaning. Lincoln, who had once led the nation through the Civil War, reminded Americans of resilience, unity, and sacrifice. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse was not merely a monument, it was a promise that the Union, preserved through blood and struggle, would stand eternal. This is why the penny of 1966 is often remembered as a coin that reflected more than just commerce. It carried the soul of America's history. Minting details. The 1966 penny was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a composition that had been used for decades. Later in 1982, the U.S. Mint would switch to a cheaper zinc core with only a thin copper coating due to rising copper prices. This makes earlier copper cents, like the 1966 version, more desirable for collectors. The diameter was 19 millimeters, and the weight was 3.11 grams. Interestingly, because mint marks were removed between 1965 and 1967, we do not know if a 1966 penny came from Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. This anonymity makes it a mystery coin for collectors. The Lincoln Memorial, a deeper history. The Lincoln Memorial, which appears on the reverse of the coin, was not only a building, it became a stage for American history. On August 28, 1963, just 3 years before the minting of this coin, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. delivered his legendary "I Have a Dream" speech from the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. That moment connected Abraham Lincoln's fight against slavery with the modern struggle for civil rights, forever tying the memorial to justice and equality. So when Americans in 1966 used this penny, many unconsciously held in their hands a reminder of not only Lincoln's legacy, but also the ongoing battle for human rights. Why coins carry history. Coins are often the silent storytellers of a nation. Unlike paper money, which changes designs more frequently, coins stay the same for decades, sometimes centuries. The 1966 penny, with its Lincoln imagery on both sides, is a reminder of how the United States wished to project itself during a time of division. United under the spirit of Lincoln. Collectors' value in the international market. In today's international market, a circulated 1966 penny may be worth just a cent, or perhaps 0.10 to 0.25 to small collectors. However, high-grade versions certified by grading companies like PCGS or NGC can be worth thousands of dollars. The rarest specimens with pristine surfaces and no handling marks have fetched up to $200,000. Some error coins, like those with double dies, off-center strikes, or clipped planchets, have been sold for $500,000 or more in elite auctions. For collectors worldwide, especially in Europe, the Middle East, and Asia, the 1966 penny is not just a coin, it is a piece of living American history, carrying Lincoln's face and his memorial across oceans and generations.